Howdy, Banger Pals. Blaine Smith welcoming you to another Metal Monthly Bangers Monthly look at what's coming out in metal releases. If you've never been here before, what I do is I find you the 5 best underground metal albums coming out every single month and bring them to you so that, you know, we get like a MTV style, check out these music videos from these sick bands, because nobody else is doing that. Why do people not do that? They just tell you about records you already know about. Speaking of records you already know about, we do like to acknowledge those as well. So off the top, I got a bit of a list. I got a list of some of the big or noteworthy releases. Maybe we'll cover some of them. Maybe I'm just saying them here because we can't cover it. Anyways, we'll do the list and then we'll get into my stuff. Let's take it away. June is a big month, apparently. June 5th, you've got Belushi Speedball releasing Toxic Waste Was Everywhere in the 80s. That's a self-release. Blood Incantation is releasing All Gates Open. And if you're like, what? There's a new Blood Incantation album? Sort of. It's a soundtrack to the documentary they made about the making of their life. Yeah, we're double and triple dipping here, but hey, if people aren't buying records, bands gotta make money somehow. So, there's that. Converge are releasing Hull of Hurt on Death Wish / Epitaph, and Evanescence are releasing Sanctuary on BMG. June 12th, you've got Big Brave releasing In Grief or In Hope on Thrill Jockey. Blast from the Past, Gengistron are releasing Signal Fire on Relapse, and Chemists are releasing Chemists on Nuclear Blast. June 19th, you've got Einherjar releasing Lifeblood on By Norse. Mork is releasing Monolith on Peaceville. And a Metal Monthly alumni and friend of the show, Satan, are releasing Fang Driller. Scars Beneath Memories, Wrist on Avantgarde. Warning are back with an album, and it's actually it's not just acoustic guitar. Rituals of Shame is out on Relapse. June 26th, Butthole Surfers are releasing After the Astronauts on Sunset Boulevard. That's sort of a brief, that's comp. You can read about that. And the Metal Monthly alum Phantom are releasing Not Midnight Yet on High Roller Records. But let's take it away with my picks. Up first, we've got some phenomenal death metal in Astriferous, Atavistic Unraveling, Misako Nojo / Pulverised, depending on what format you want, June 26th. This is some Costa Rican death metal. You've got cover artwork by Mexican illustrator Necro Devour, and that is how you do it. Look at the way the logo color contrasts with the album cover, the cool art. That is a proper album cover, and this is some death metal that should be able to make a lot of people happy. The record is no fluff, all tough death metal. Front to back, it is heavy and eerie and never lets up. There's no interludes or brooding. They play some old school death metal wherever you drop the needle, whatever groove you pick. But then it does have a bit of a vibe that arty death metal enjoyers will go for too. Not in a way that isn't in line with what I just said, just that it does its thing in a less conventional way than some others might go about it. It's a real hard tightrope to walk, but they seemingly do it with ease. And all that somehow comes from a place that is as close to heaven on earth as I've ever been. Man, if I lived in Costa Rica, I wouldn't do shit. Make an amazing death metal album? No, I'll be at the beach. Bye. Moving on, we've got Speedslut. I bet you can guess what they do. Cimbrian Rites, Listenable Records, June 26th. Yes, this is Danish. Say it with me. Speed metal. Of course, it's got speed at the band name. Of course, it's speed metal. Love the cover, though I'm not sure who did this one, actually. But look, Phantom is releasing an album this month. I love Phantom. They make phenomenal speed metal, but I have featured them before, and this is a brand spanking new album by a brand spanking new band. So definitely pick up the Phantom record, but also just because I assume you know about it because I go on about Phantom a lot. Let me tell you about this. Having only released EP last year and being 4 guys that don't seem to have any other bands and are looking real baby-faced, it's crazy that they're blasting out of the gates, and in their short time on Earth, they have managed to learn exactly what speed metal is supposed to sound like. I mean, the album literally opens with a blast through some rototoms. Yes, this is the first thing you hear. They know what they're doing. It's fast from start to finish. Songs never stick around longer than they need to. The vocals are on the harsher side, though, giving them a bit of a Venom feel, which I'm sure no one will complain about. We've got gang vocals too. They've actually checked off every box on the speed metal checklist, including having a great dumb name like Speedslut. Different can be good, but sometimes you just want a record that does everything right, and that is the Speedslut record. Ta-da! Up next, we've got Inherits the Void, the Silent Abscission on Avantgarde Music, June 19th. This is French black metal. We got artwork by Timon Cocotte gracing the cover, and similar to what I was saying about Phantom. Yes, Satan is releasing an album this month. Please buy the Satan record. But I have talked about them a lot, and I've never talked about this band. So let's talk about them. The first thing I said when I heard this on stream, because as a reminder, I do all the research for this show, and everything I do on Banger, live on Twitch every Sunday, 4 p.m. Eastern Time. You can hear every metal album coming out 1 month in the future. Get ahead, have some beers with me, have a laugh. Anyways, first time I heard this, said it sounds like Knock Mystium that's not addicted to heroin and won't steal $80 from you for a record that they'll never send. Because yes, 2 tracks on this record do feature a little saxophone as a treat, so the comparison is going to go there. It also does a lot of different styles at once. The guitars frequently sound atmospheric in tone, but the drums and vocals are more aggressive and in your face. And then it also does some of the whole let's go off and do some weird experimental stuff, like having a saxophone. But it likes traditional stuff too, and that there's a bit of kind of Norsey type singing on some tracks. There's also just, I could go on forever. There isn't really one dominant style besides, I guess, a tour of the entire black metal region. Sort of a black metal charcuterie board, if you will. You get a little sausage, you get a grate, you get a cracker, you get some jam. Some weird things on charcuterie board. Walnut. Moving on, we've got Nuclear Tomb, Epoch Inhumane on Rotted Life Records, June 12th. And I'm excited because once again, I get to bring you some thrash. I've been able to bring you more thrash lately, so that's been great. We've got some death metal in there from one of America's most metal cities, of course, Baltimore. Cover art, we've got the craziness Brad Moore is known for. What the hell's going on? I don't know, but I like it. I personally love that later thrash that's about to start becoming death metal but isn't quite there yet, and wish we get more of it, as I think, just like black thrash, it's kind of the best way to do thrash for the 2020s because, black metal and death metal are really popular, so why not put some of that in your thrash, because the thrash really causes this band to be putting some extra stank on the riffs. A quick at the end of a riff is just so sick. So we've got thrash greatness. Then the little bit of death creep in there cuts that stilted awkwardness that I find can be a part of the traditional American thrash sound. They're just really good at using different elements to balance out each other. Like, as a band that's more on the technical side, you might worry about them falling into the cool to play, hard to listen to trap, but they're also a really punky band, which is more on the cool to listen to, easy to play side. They really only take the strengths from their influences and then cover the flaws with strengths from other influences. And there's no better example than, based on everything I've said, no, every song is under 4 minutes except Album Closer, and the whole thing is 36 minutes. Editing, people, editing. This is how you do it. And speaking of editing, we have to pay our editors. And how do we do that? With your help, because we have a Patreon campaign. You toss us a couple bucks, we toss a bunch of extra content over there. If you like that, toss us a couple bucks. If you don't have a couple bucks to spare, just a like or subscribe. Usual comment, YouTube, algorithm nonsense. Now let us get to our palette cleanse of the month. It's Iron Kobra, Eternal Dagger, Dying Victims Productions, June 19th. Heavy metal is a thing that you can polish too hard and accidentally reveal that it's a cheap veneer. Thankfully, Iron Kobra are just polished enough to make a great record, but not so polished that the whole thing doesn't just sound a little, I don't know, weird, in parentheses, complimentary. It certainly has a bit of that cocky beer party music going for it, but you don't have a sci-fi chick riding a tiger on your cover if you're just making conventional heavy metal. Sitting somewhere between sleaze and epic, Iron Kobra give you a little bit of everything that's great about heavy metal. We get a song that's all in German, and I always need more non-English metal, please. Plus, if you know anything about dancehall, Eternal Dagger is a funny title. It makes me smile hearing a dude shout Eternal Dagger on a song. That's just good, clean fun. And that's been our monthly. Yeah, it's another month. What are you excited about? We get into the summer. Sometimes things can get a little thin, but so far, June, shaping up great. I wonder what July is going to look like. Let me know in the comments below what you're excited about, and I'll just see you later, gang.